a lot of requests for anime abandon. Everything from the conventional, like Evangelion, to the downright bizarre, like Demon City Shinjuku. But only once has anyone requested Sword for Truth, which confounds me. In this day and age, with near limitless databases of rare schlock titles littering the internet, finding a horribly written or performed movie, television show, or what have you has never been easier. Hell, stuff like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie used to be the stuff of urban legend, and if you wanted to see it, you had to know a guy who knew a guy who had a cousin who managed to swipe a bootleg from a shady kiosk at Comic-Con 1995. Now, it's as simple as going to YouTube and typing it in. It's almost impossible for anything to slip past the watching eyes of the internet. So why in the hell isn't Sword for Truth more infamous than it is? I mean, it's not like it's hard to get. Manga Entertainment still holds the license for it. You can watch it right now on Netflix, and it's streaming legally on YouTube. Yet, it doesn't have a Wikipedia entry, and the IMDb entry is minimal at best, despite the fact that Sword for Truth may be the most pointless piece of bullshit anime I have ever seen. And I've seen Darzy's Wing. Everything about this 50-minute OVA is just a parade of every negative aspect of schlock 90s anime, all the way down to the title of the show, Sword for Truth. And what kind of bass-backwards mirror universe does this title make sense? I know that the plot revolves around a sword, that I get, but how can a sword be for truth? I mean, if it was Sword of Truth, it'd be cliché, but at least it would make some modicum of sense. But Sword for Truth? How is it possible that a three-letter preposition is this baffling to me? Well, then again, I guess it would be a better title than the original Japanese Shironosuke Zanmaken Shikamomo no Toko, which I believe is translated roughly out to too late to get your money back. One of my favorite things about Sword for Truth has nothing to do with the show itself, but rather how Manga Entertainment decided to promote it. On the freaking cover of the DVD, it has the utter gall to declare the best sword fighting action since Ninja Scroll. Okay, that's wrong in two ways. One, it's a complete and utter bullshit lie, and two, Sword for Truth was released in Japan in 1990, and Ninja Scroll was released in Japan in 1993. So, really, it should be Ninja Scroll that says the best sword fighting action since Sword for Truth. By a fucking lot! Well, enough dancing around the inevitable. We begin with a white tiger just outright ruining everyone's shit and decapitating hapless peons by the bushel. How a tiger is able to separate a man's head from his neck, I don't know. Hell, not even the horse is safe from getting the Antoinette treatment. To save myself and everyone else's time, I've decided to omit my usual counting gag and just place a conservative estimate of how many beheadings there are in this 50-minute OVA. I'd say 600 even. In fact, the only thing more annoyingly prevalent than all the decapitations are the constant shots of lanterns either being sliced open or being burnt. What is the significance, you may ask? Personally, I think it's to distract the audience from the dub actor's incessant habit of mispronouncing Japanese terms and names.
Just make sure it doesn't get anywhere near Princess Mayu.
My name is Daisen Imura. I am chief of the Nakura clan here in Edo.
A handsome fellow wearing the size of death. It wasn't too hard to find you, Sakaki-san.
Shiranosuke, where are we going?
Speaking for myself, I'm not all that bothered by the mispronunciations, but I just know that there's at least one weeaboo out there that's having the mother of all tantrums right now. And it warms the cockles of my heart. The tiger is pretty much owning everyone in sight, which is Proto-Jubei's cue to swoop in from nowhere and save the day.
You leave me no choice but to destroy you.
This single takedown of the massive feline begins yet another prevalent trope that permeates the entire show. That god-awful, overused shot of someone slicing into his enemy, but the effects of the slice aren't noticeable until either after the person sheaths his sword or a few seconds pass, whichever comes first. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the entirety of Sword for Truth is just variations of this same scene over and over again.
You have saved our lord from this monster.
Stand aside. I wish to pass.
Tell me your name!
He bears the crest of two overlapping scythes, sir. It's sometimes known as the Scythes of Death and is very rarely used. It shouldn't be hard to find out who he is.
Yeah, not everyone walks around feudal Japan wearing a swastika. Oh, come on, you know that's what it is. After a completely pointless scene where Proto-Jubei embarrasses a would-be pickpocket by exposing her jubblies, we cut to a pointless fight scene where he just tears through bandits like a linebacker through butcher paper. He squares off with their leader, who barely has time to spout off a few lines before being slaughtered.
Now my lord knows it was you. Your lord knows what? He knows I did what?
So, his head was decapitated, but remained attached long enough for him to talk. You know, I get that these scenes can look cool, but there's a limit to how much bullshit you can get away with. Seeing the lopsided fight firsthand, one of the guards who was saved from the tiger approaches Proto-Jubei with a job. It seems that the tiger was meant as a distraction for a team of ninjas to kidnap his princess. In return for her safety, they demand that one person deliver to them her family's antique sword.
The message said the princess would be returned in exchange for the Ginryu sword. One man is to take the sword to the Benton Shrine in Ueno tomorrow night at the hour of the boar. If this demand is not met, the princess will be raped and then killed. And her body left for the dogs to pick over.
Then they'll kill the dogs, prepare them in a soup, and trick her parents into eating said soup. Then they'll summon the damned spirit of their daughter to tell them that they have essentially eaten her. I think they mean business. After accepting the job, Proto-Jubei finds the woman he exposed earlier waiting for him at his rented hut. They barely exchange 4 sentences together before they wind up bumping uglies. Well, I guess it was only a matter of time before...
Ahem. I believe this is my area of expertise.
Oh, no. Listen, Suave, I told you can have Golden Boy, but that was a one-time only deal.
I'm not trying to take this review away from you, but I'd be doing the world a disservice if I didn't break down Shiranosuke's moves for all those would-be Mac daddies out there.
What moves? The two had barely enough time to talk about the weather before they started snogging.
Well, it looks like you've got quite a lot to learn if that was all you were able to pick up.
Fine, whatever. Say what you want and get the fuck out of here. It's all bullshit anyway.
And quit stealing my scotch! I only got room in my budget for 2 smoking jackets and 3 bottles of liquor a week.
Some of you out there may be wondering how Shiranosuke was able to bed this feisty beauty without saying more than 3 sentences to her. Well, it's a classic Mac Daddy trick that I am proud to show you. It's called laying the trap. It only works on a certain kind of lady, so you must know your target before attempting this risky gambit.
What kind of woman does this technique work on? The kind that want to kill you. The best kind.
After acknowledging your target, you have to play the bait and wait for her to come to you. At the right moment, you turn and show off your swordsman skills by slicing off her kimono and exposing her lovely lady lumps for everyone to see.
This plan is contingent on your ability to slice just far enough to cut the cloth, but not the woman. Should you cut too far, this plan stops being laying the trap and starts being laying the corpse, which is for another episode entirely.
Obviously, your target will be embarrassed and will vie for revenge. She will attempt to seduce and kill you, but knowing that, you could play into it and gain the upper hand. With the right move, you could turn an assassination attempt into glorious hate fucking.
Any man who makes love with me must be so cold and full of hate he could kill me at any moment. So, I have to kill you first.
Oren, you're not so bad. Heaven and hell can both be found here on Earth. I'll take you to both of them.
Jiranosuke does the Mech Daddy community proud. Not only does he avoid getting killed, but he also gets a right piece of tail in the process. If this man were any studlier, he'd be me.
Ah, that reminds me. Hey Studley, your back issue of Sizzle came in.
Ah, perfect. Just the reading material for when I'm having sex with many women at the same time.
Yeah, okay, whatever, Suave. You had your fun. Now get the fuck out.
I'm not lonely.
Out!
Please, Sakaki, make love to me again.
You better go now.
Yeah, I got a thing tomorrow. Killing ninjas. And we segue into another lopsided sword fight. You know, half the reason why the sword fighting in Ninja Scroll was exciting and intense was because Jubei actually got hurt. He struggled, overcame, and put actual effort into dispatching whatever was thrown his way. Proto-Jubei, on the other hand, can't wave his sword without killing a ninja, and believe me, it's not as cool as it sounds. These fight scenes lack all sense of gravity and grittiness. They're just a series of canned shots of black blood spurts and speed lines. It's so boring that the movie suddenly cuts to a lesbian opium jag just to keep the audience from falling asleep. Although, I'll admit, nice touch.
The most ancient treasure of the Nakura clan is the legendary Ginryu sword. It is time the sword was delivered into the hands of the Seki ninja. Oh, Princess Mayu, you must bring me the Ginryu sword.
Yes, Akuni, I promise. I will. I promise I will bring you the Ginryu sword.
Okay, if you wanted her to get you the sword, why the fuck did you kidnap her in the first place, you assholes? Yeah, I get the reason why the Scissor Sisters are here in the first place, but why the fuck did they have to compound the transparent fan service with buttfuck continuity? I mean, was this supposed to take place before she got kidnapped? Well, if that were true, how the hell do they get close enough to get her to... Gah! How bad is it that I'm looking at a scene where two women are grinding their vaginas together, and all I'm thinking is, this should not be here? The show tries to sweep this confusing, boner-inducing scene under the rug and snaps back to Proto-Jubei making his way to the drop-off point. He gives the sword to... God, she doesn't even have a personality to knock with a nickname. So, fuck it, I'm just gonna call her by your real name. He gives the sword to Princess Mayu's captors, and shabams more weightless, petted fight scenes. Eventually, Proto-Jubei backs the head ninja, who kind of reminds me of Bluto from Popeye, into a corner.
Why should you care if she lives or dies?
I'm getting paid, and the Nakura clan won't be happy if I let you kill her.
I understand.
If it's your intention to kill me, stop talking about it and do it. But before I die, please would you answer me one question, Sakaki?
Would you yodel in my furry canyon of love? You know, actually, I feel kind of bad about that one. I mean, who could think about sex in a time like this?
Could you love me?
You got problems, Mayu. First that opium-fueled lesbian fling, and now you're wanting to hide Proto-Jubei's salami in your yeast-infected claptrap? Listen, lady, Proto-Jubei wouldn't fuck you with the situation-severed cock.
Yes, Princess, I could love you.
Shut up, you're not helping! Proto-Jubei catches Bluto off guard and manages to steal away Mayu into the night. But then all of a sudden these female ninjas poof into being and start fighting Bluto and his ninjas. Where the fuck did they come from? Wait, I know that they're ninjas and appearing out of nowhere is what they do, but I'm talking about in the context of the narrative. They just literally appear and fight Bluto for the sword. The only forewarning the audience has over their involvement is just a short scene of them swimming up to the temple, although, I will admit, their fight with Bluto leads to the only good scene in Sword for Truth. After stabbing him repeatedly, Bluto just shirks it off and literally breaks the swords off his body just by flexing his ungodly physique. Then he unleashes the mother of all unholy beatdowns on these poor women. I can't watch this scene without making some kind of verbal response. Ooh! Oh! Oh!
Come here!
Wait. That was it? Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, the fight scene just kind of ends right here on a sudden jump cut. And what's worse, we never cut back to either the women ninjas or to Bluto. It just stops. And what do we get to see instead? I don't know what. Did Proto-Jubei blow up that fish guy with his sword? How? Was he a member of one of those ninja clans we saw earlier? Or was he just some random guy in the river who didn't like them rowing past him? And more importantly, why the fuck do we cut from this scene to two characters we've never seen before? The immediate scene afterward is a fight scene with a fat guy and some assassin who kind of looks like what David Hasselhoff wishes he looked like. Of course, Hasselhoff wins, and we cut to yet another pointless fight scene with Proto-Jubei. Because that is exactly what a 50-minute OVA needs. Filler. That is the show in a nutshell. 50 minutes of filler. No characters, no story arc, just fight scenes over a series of hazy, indiscernible occurrences. Things happen, but for no real reason other than to happen. Even when the narrative actually has the patience to slow down and have some semblance of character development, it's still more useless than tits on a nun.
It's just as I thought. You're very kind. Not really a cold-hearted killer at all.
I killed both my parents. Then later that evening, I killed my younger brother as well. So is it still your opinion that I'm warm and kind-hearted?
I'm sorry.
Did she just say I'm sorry? What the fuck is she apologizing for? I'm sorry that you killed your family. My god. You have to work to get that stupid. It doesn't take long at all for Proto-Jubei to deliver Mayu back to the palace, where he gets his just reward.
Here's the rest of your money plus a bonus. You've earned it 10 times over. Words can't adequately express our appreciation for what you've done.
And now you must die. Nah, that doesn't actually happen, but can you imagine how stupid that would be?
You have come into contact with the princess, and so you must die. I am sorry.
No! Stop it! Stop the whole thing! Review's over. Go home. I'm done with this stupid fucking shit stain of a show. Oh yeah. Wings of Onimize. Till next time, or whatever. God damn it, that was fucking stupid.